Good morning. Just got to the farm. Looks like Dad had a hydraulic hose break. It looks like a low pressure return hose, but he's gone already, so I don't know what to do with that. But we're heading to Berkey to go plant beans this morning. So I'm hoping to plant corn at Berkey later today. It's probably going to be late tonight before we get there, but I'm going to need some starter fertilizer. So I'm loading the tender truck up with the first load. We'll probably need two, so that we at least have some down there if somebody can bring it to me. I'm taking my pickup because I need Dad down there. But we'll get this loaded up, and I got another box of seed. Those two boxes I treated last night, I'm going to throw one of them in the back of my truck. We're going to throw the other one on here, and hopefully somebody will come down later today to get the tillage moving so that we can plant corn. They can bring this tender truck down. Let's get loaded up. So we're putting the same variety in that we had yesterday. That's what was left in the tank. So we're just topping them off. We'll put these two boxes in. Tanks will be pretty full and we can go plant for a while. We've got one more of this variety. I won't be able to squeeze 3 boxes in these 2 tanks, so we'll just have to plant until we get enough room to put that one in. Yeah, it'll work. So I got my first box empty, filling the second one here. Can I get a half a box in here yet? There's more room than I thought there would be. If I could get a half a box, that's the rest of this variety. Maybe we should try it. We'll see what this one looks like when it's done, but that would save me a trip back and forth to the field with a seed tender if I could just put them in now. We got them in. That tank is full. This one didn't get quite full. The box is empty. So we got 3+ boxes of seed in because there was a little bit in there when we started. We can plant for a long time. I think we are ready to go. We have a bit of a problem on that one. I actually noticed it yesterday when we got down here. I must have lost it doing the last little bit of corn yesterday. But we apparently had a bearing go out on a closing wheel and it just flat fell off. Had to be in that last field of corn because I put seed in this planter about 3 times yesterday doing the corn and I didn't see it when I was doing that, and I would have walked right past it. I'm pretty confident I would have seen it, so we gotta go find it, ideally, but we're gonna run for right now with one closing wheel because, well, it's beans and they'll be fine, but I would like to get that fixed before we do corn. And I don't have any of these cast copperhead closing wheels extra. So I could put one of my rubbers back on, which isn't great. We have some other style spiked closing wheels that I could try, which I don't know would be great either, but it's better than nothing. Problem was I forgot to bring one this morning. That was stupid. Or I could run to the local John Deere dealer that is literally going to be a mile from where we're planting today and see if they have anything in stock that I can throw on there, which is most likely what we're going to do. Okay, we are in our field. We've got a little start. I did some ends and we're getting started here. I want to dig and check because you'll notice this is a little different than what we normally plant into. This is no-till corn stalks. No-tilling beans into corn stalks that are still standing. We did not disc this last fall. We have done no tillage this spring. And so it's going to plant a little bit different, and I want to dig, make sure we're getting beans in the ground, make sure that we're depth is where we want it, and we'll see how this goes. We are, once we get off the ends here, we're going to plant on a little bit of an angle, going to go across the rows, because we're still going to split these, and I don't want to plant a row directly on the old corn stalk if I can help it. So we'll see how we do here. I don't know, but at some point we got all this stuff across the road to do too. We'll probably just plant some 30s and just split the old corn rows, but not right now. All right, so immediately what I see is we have a much more defined seed trench with a harder sidewall, but that's because we don't have any loose dirt from our tillage. Our depth is plenty deep, but probably fine. Need a seed there, a seed there, a seed there. Like, our spacing looks good. These are planted at 70,000 because we're going to double plant, so that'll give us our total of 140. There's a seed. I think there's one in the middle there. So I'm pretty happy with the way the planter's doing here. We'll keep going. We might have to go slow in this field. That's going to be a bummer. I did go ahead and move our closing wheel pressure down to the second notch in this no-till. Maybe that'll break our sidewalls up a little bit better. Uncle Jack just stopped here. I'm going to need another bucket of talc to finish this planting down here. The John Deere dealer is that building right there. So I asked him if he would run over there and grab a bucket of talc and see if they have any closing wheels that I can throw on. So we'll see. Okay, well, we'll try our angle out here and plant through these stalk rows. Our row cleaners are working overtime trying to get the stalks out of the way to be able to have good ground to plant into, but that's why they're on the planters. So, and they seem to be working. They're moving a lot of residue. I'm pretty happy with that. It'll be interesting the second pass over because we're going to cover up the rows that we're planting now. Throwing all this trash in between the rows, we're going to throw it right back. So yeah, I don't know. But I've also, I said earlier we're going to have to slow down a little bit to make sure we're doing a good job. Well, we're going to have to slow down a little bit because this pulls way harder. Like, I've got it set for 9 miles an hour and we're only going 7 because we don't have the power to pull this. Which, I mean, we're not pulling our tank behind us, so I'm a little surprised by that. But yeah, definitely pulling harder. We did set that closing wheel pressure down a notch, and I have upped the margin on our gauge wheel margin up to 160 pounds from 120 that we were running in the tilled ground. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be a long day. So yesterday we talked quite a bit about the 30s versus 15s and why we're splitting rows. We will do some 30s today just for comparison purposes. It'll be a lot faster, so I don't know. There's 3 fields across the road here. There's a 60, a 65, and a 15-acre piece in addition to the 67-acre piece that we are doing right now. So we'll probably pick one of those 2 60-acre fields over there and just plant them in 30s and call that good enough. But I would like to leave a strip, like 2 rounds, maybe in this field where we plant in 30-inch rows compared to the 15s where we're going to double it back over just to kind of see what kind of yield difference we might see there, if any. But let's talk a little bit about the differences in the no-till versus the worked ground. So you guys know that we like to run our Landall disc, vertical till disc, on our corn stalks. We usually run it in the fall and then do it again in the spring. We never really made it down here last fall with the disc. Kind of just didn't happen, and then eventually it rained and got wet enough that we decided to forget about it. We did have the chisel plow or the 2730 disc ripper down here. Did all of the bean stubble going to corn, and we did that one bean field that we planted yesterday, so we were able to get that one worked. Just did it with the field cultivator. We are still running the disc back up at Waldron. Xander's running it right now, and you know it's still moving. And so in order to get these beans planted a little bit quicker, where we don't have the tillage capacity to get it all done as fast as maybe we would like, we're going to no-till these. It's not my preference. I would much prefer to run the disc over these, maybe even twice in the spring since it didn't get done in the fall, but we don't have that ability. So, I know a lot of places in the country no-till a lot of crops. Around here, you don't see much of it. If you do see some no-till, it is no-tilled soybeans and wheat. We no-till all our wheat. But corn is almost never no-till around here. And what we have seen in the past from no-tilling beans is they usually get off to a little bit slower start. The residue breaking down here, the corn stalks, make it harder to plant the beans so they don't emerge as even, they don't have as good a stand, and a lot of times they're a little bit yellow. The corn stalk breaking down kind of affects the carbon to nitrogen ratio in the soil, and it doesn't provide as much nitrogen to the soybeans as when you have tilled ground to plant into. That said, usually somewhere midsummer they even out, or the no-till beans may even look a little bit better than the tilled ground beans will. So I don't know if it's a net benefit or net negative to no-till versus the disc pass that we've been trying to do. We'll learn a little bit more on that this year, I guess. But one of the other big things is harvestability. The beans are so much easier to harvest after we've done that tillage, because we're getting rid of all these old cornstalk rows. We're leveling the ground out. We're smashing the rocks down with our packer. It just makes everything flow and work a lot nicer and a lot easier when we don't have all this residue sitting on top of the ground when we get to harvest time. So if we were going to roll soybeans, this would be a great spot to do it, right? Where we're no-tilling and we didn't run our disc and our packer over it to try and smash this stuff down. But we don't have a roller. We're probably not going to do that. So the other thing I'm noticing just a little bit here is we have a few, I'm not going to call them ruts, but just depressions where some of the tires and tracks from last year are. I'm going to assume that is from either planting or side dressing, or maybe the sprayer, not harvest, because we were very dry when we harvested last fall. So I don't think we did any real compaction damage or cut any tracks while we were down here harvesting, but we may have earlier in the year, and normally we don't have that when we're planting beans because we run our tillage and it takes all that kind of stuff out. So we'll see how it goes here. This whole 7 miles an hour thing just feels like we are creeping slow. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a brutally long day if this is all the faster we can go. It's probably for the best, right? We're doing a better job because of it, but I don't know. I was going to slow down to 8, not 9, not 7. I know, spoiled, right? Because it didn't used to be that way. It used to be 5 miles an hour all day. We wouldn't touch anything more than that. Now, after planting 1,400 acres, going 10 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour, you kind of get spoiled. Going back to 7 just feels like you're crawling. Just about made it across this field. Let's see what we're doing there. So we're going to do everything possible to make the neighborhood think that we are absolutely crazy down here. And so this field here we planted, we're going to go back and split the rows and do our 15s, right? Where we split the 30s and make them into 15s. I've only planted 70,000 seeds per acre so far, so we've got to do that to get our population reasonable. I have skipped 2 planter passes here on the first time over. When we get to those the second time over, we're going to up our population to 130,000 and plant those 2 passes. So we'll have a 15 versus 30 inch row test in this field side by side, okay? The field over there across the road, I think we're going to do a diamond pattern. Instead of splitting the rows, we're going to go plant on a little bit of an angle this way like we're doing now, and then we're going to switch and plant on a little bit of an angle this way the second time over and do the same thing where we're kind of, half planting. But instead of splitting the rows, we're just going to go on a opposite angle. So we end up with a diamond pattern because it'll look cool. I think it'll be a little bit easier to keep it, splitting instead of splitting the rows. But mostly because it's going to make everybody think that I'm crazy and the neighbors talk. And then the field over there on the other side of that woods, we're just going to plant in 30s. So we're going to have 3 totally different things in the 3 fields that we have side by side here, just so that I can make all the neighbors talk and think that I'm crazy. Okay, we've got what looks like that, and I apparently actually have 3 passes. No, there's only 2. That one already got filled in over there. Okay, we need to jack up our rate. Let's go 130,000, which is less than the 140,000 that we're planting in 15 inch rows, but I would plant less in 30 inch rows than I would in 15 inch rows. I should probably do 120, but we'll do 130. Okay, now this pass we planted the first time over the field, so we're just going to fill in the last pass here. I had to remember to turn my pop down. We got a little bit there that was it's triple planted, basically. No, not triple, but yeah. Okay. You want to see something interesting? Look at this. This applied downforce map. Yesterday, in our worked ground, that applied downforce was less than what our gauge wheel margin number was. Like, our gauge wheel margin, we were shooting for 120. We were putting like 100 pounds of downforce on because the weight of the row units was keeping the rows in the ground. Here, in this hard no-till ground, we're putting 200 pounds more down pressure on than what the gauge wheel margin is. That's a significant difference over what we were doing yesterday. And yeah, just different ground conditions. So these are the conditions that wear planters out. Like, that is one negative and downside to double planting these, is that we're putting a lot more acres through our planter because of it. And that's going to make, you know, more wear and tear on the seed discs, on the parallel arms, on the closing wheels, on the gauge wheel arms, on basically everything. And so we'll have to look at things a little bit closer. But basically, we're going to end up planting an extra almost 300 acres more than what we would have, plus the fact that we're doing more beans than we would have to start with. So this planter is going to see significantly more acres this year than what we would normally put on it. Well, there is quite a bit of activity in the neighborhood here today. I saw a little bit yesterday, but I was in a different area. Over there, you won't be able to see it very good, but there's a planter running behind that orange sign over there. And we have a neighbor across the road behind that house that you can't see. Right, just guy right across the road. He's drilling some soybeans over there. And then I thought I saw one over there on the other side of the woods earlier. So lots of people out planting today. And we got a big dust cloud over that way. I don't know what they're doing, but somebody's making some dust fly. And hopefully, in a little bit here, we've got our tillage tractor running. I think we've got a bit of a surprise for you guys today. So Xander's running the disc, Phil's planting the soybeans. Dad wants to keep spraying, getting bean sprayed. He's gotten a few hundred acres of that done already, but wants to keep moving with it. So we're calling in the fifth string for running the field cultivator today. That's right, I think Brock is making a return. I've been talking to him a little bit, and he said to let him know if we ever needed something. And I figured when Dad got busy wanting to spray and we still had some tillage to do, that would be the day. And so, yeah, I think Dad and Brock are actually both on their way to Berkey right now. Dad's going to help him get started, get set up with everything, and keep everything moving. And then, yeah, go back and keep spraying. There's that neighbor behind us, if you can see through the dust cloud. Oh, in fact, look at that. There he is. You gonna make your triumphant YouTube return?
I don't care.
YouTube misses you.
I know.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's slow going out here. While we're out of the cab, let's see if what we got. Look at this mess of residue. Holy cow. How are our beans gonna make it through this? Goodness gracious. Okay, so we've got a row right here. You should be able to find a bean somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's planting. There it is. Okay. Well, we should have another row. Looks like right here. I don't have a tape measure, but maybe it's over here. Let's see. I can't see them very good anymore. Get out of there. Right there. All right. So that's less than 30 inches. And then we've got another row that's right here. Oh yeah, that bean didn't get in the ground. That one's not too bad. They're not perfect, but we are getting it. There's just so much residue. So see here. So this is the row we just planted, and you can see we don't have a ton of residue right here. Like it all got pushed over here, right? Like that's what our row cleaners are doing, fluffing all this stuff up, moving it over here. But what we're doing is burying the row that we've got right here, and hopefully that comes through it okay. So I don't know, it's working. I think the planter's kind of doing a little bit of this number as it goes up and down the rows as we kind of cross them on an angle, so I think that's affecting my spacing a little bit. I felt like we did a better job splitting the rows yesterday in the worked ground. All right, we're gonna keep going. All right, Brock.
Howdy.
You're gonna have to tell everybody what's going on in life.
Just living life.
Why do you hate us?
I don't.
Oh.
I said at the end of last season, I said, you know, I don't need to work nearly as much as what I have been the last 5 years of my life. And if you can find somebody else to do the cleaning work and stuff like that.
What's her name? Still there?
I have a female friend.
This is the problem. Girls ruin everything.
Yeah.
So, nah, he's just doing his EMT, paramedic, firefighter stuff, and not working for us.
I told specifically your dad. I don't know if I told
we talked
you.
about it. I remember. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I told everybody. Everybody thinks that you got mad and quit or something. And
Oh, no.
I don't. You're busy. You got other stuff going on. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I get the question almost every day. Where's Brock? What happened to Brock? You guys, he's right there.
I'm here.
So we're waiting for Dad to get down here with the fertilizer tender, and then they're gonna go look at some fields and hopefully get the field cultivator moving. And we're gonna let Brock run it today and tomorrow or tonight or whatever. See how things go. And yeah, so while we're trying to spray and we needed that fifth string guy, we'll pull Brock off the bench.
Excuse me. I'm surprised he pulled me off the bench. I mean, when I played basketball for him, I just had the bench.
Starter. He was a starter.
Yeah.
Every single game, he was a starter. Jeez. Anyway, this is still super slow going. But we're finishing up the last little bit of the wedge here. We got one more partial pass to fill in, and we've got this field planted twice. So that's good. I think we're going to jump across over to that field, and we're just going to do 30s. That field's going to be my 30-inch row field. I feel like actually covering some ground. It has taken us 4.5 hours to plant this, and that's ridiculous. So I need to do something faster. Finally, we've got this one done. So Dad just went by with the tender truck, my fertilizer that I'll need for corn, hopefully later today. We'll see if we get that far because the beans are taking forever. I'm gonna fold this up and jump across the road, and since Brock's got his fancy little new car here and he needs to go back to the farm and I need to go back to the farm to get my truck, we're gonna run and go get that. And we're another 3 miles from where we were yesterday. I don't know if Uber Eats delivers this far. They might, but while we're gone, I might just go grab some food real quick and we'll come back. I'm not entirely sure if we'll have enough seed in here to plant this field or not. It's going to be reasonably close. We're going to be really close to being able to plant all of the beans down here with the seed that we've got. Which is part of the reason we're doing this with the corn planter, because I can do a little bit lower rates and we should have enough. Dad's down here with my other box of seed, so we're going to put both of these on the tender and take them back. They're going to get started over here and see how the tillage goes. Once we get done with the beans, we'll switch right back and start planting corn. The question is that going to be by 6 o'clock tonight or tomorrow morning, or am I going to stay here all night to try and get the corn planted? I don't know. Back in the tractor, let's get going on this field. So this one we are only going to plant once. We're going to plant it at 130,000, do a full rate, 30-inch rows. We'll see how this field does. So we're going to try and split the middles of the corn stalk rows, so we're not planting directly into the corn rows. That should reduce our residue a little bit, but we'll see how we do with that. Well, it looks like we're going to be able to pretty effectively stay off of the rows, plant right in between the old corn stalk rows, which is good. So I would like to point out, though, that this pulling the planter through no-till ground is burning a whole lot more fuel than we were pulling the planter through disked or tilled ground, field cultivated ground. It's night and day difference how much horsepower it takes to pull this planter in these different ground conditions. So yeah, while no-till does save fuel on tillage passes, I'm burning a whole lot more in the planter pass. Now those are not a one-to-one, it's not offsetting, right? But it's not as big of a fuel savings to no-till as you might otherwise think. Made it most of the way across the field here. Got a little bit to do. I jumped over to the edge here. We'll plant this pass parallel with the edge of the field. So our neighbor over here, they planted this field this morning. They beat me here. It's okay. I don't know if it's. I don't know who it is. I assume there's multiple people in this field, but there's one guy in particular, I think, that thinks that the pole in front of us, that electric pole, is the property line. It is not. But every year, they get up about 200 feet from it and then go and curve right over to that pole. But in reality, it's the post on the other side of the road that you can kind of sort of see there. That's where the property line is. So We usually have a little battle, and I don't know if they even know we're having this battle. It's just friendly on my part. My uncle Jack doesn't like it, so he'll come out here and take a hoe or something and like take the beans in the summer, corn and stalks that are on our side, and go feed them to the ducks or something. I don't know. It's funny. But yeah, the planter seems to have stayed right on his side. The guy that planted it, the guy that did the tillage came in right up to the pole. The guy that planted it did not. He was pretty close to where the line was, so whatever. It's all good. Well, we're going to get this one done. There can't be a whole lot of beans left in our tanks, but I have more confidence that we are going to have plenty to finish now, because we still have 80 units that we have not put in the planter. We have, I believe, 65 and 15 acres to go, which would be the 80. So yeah, that's good. We're gonna go out and look and see what exactly is in our tanks, but we have a little piece across the road over there, that one, and we're gonna go plant that, and then we got just this field to go then. Looks pretty good digging them up. They're in the moisture. They're a little deeper than I would like, but honestly it's about how deep we've got to go to get into some decent moisture here, so I don't think they're too deep. Now, where'd they go? They were all right in a row. Oh, there they are. There's one. Yeah, they're in plenty. We don't need to go any deeper, that's for sure. But there's so much less residue in the rows where we plant just 30-inch rows between the rows instead of trying to double them up. All right, I had checked our tanks, and there wasn't a huge amount of seed. In fact, I don't know if we're going to have enough to plant this whole field here. This is 15 acres or whatever it is. I've done the perimeter. Yeah, we don't have much left, so I'm trying to get it used up so we can put the other variety in. I was going to double plant this, and then I thought, nah, for no more of the acres that is here, we're just going to do the 30-inch rows. There's sort of an odd-shaped field with that swoop in it there, and not really a good straight side on it. It'd have been sort of hard to double plant because you're following so many curves. So we're just going to plant this one in 30s. I did up the pop to 140,000 from 130. We'll use these up, and then we are going to double plant. We're going to crisscross plant that last field, that last 65 acres or 64, and keep our pops a little higher because we've got plenty of beans. So Phil just called me. Xander's been working on those new farms that we picked up this year. They were standing corn stalks, kind of like this, except for the previous farmer that had it last year planted on 20-inch rows instead of 30s. It's corn. And so there's a lot of residue there and stuff, and they have made the decision that they've got to hit it twice, which means we don't have anything else ready for him to plant right now, but he was going to get some stuff moved around and get ready to go there, which is fine. So we're doing pretty good. I feel better about where we're at. It is right at 4 o'clock now, and we've got, quite a bit more done. I've got just that one field left to plant. It's going to take a little while, but we should be able to get switched over and start planting some corn tonight. It's going to be late, but we should get a field planted at least. So close, so close. We were out of beans. Both tanks came on with a low seed warning. I planted until the row ran out. That's going to be it. We're going to have to go fill up and then come back and make one round. Dang it. That's okay. Shouldn't have upped that rate. If we would have planted 130, we would have gotten it done. Oh well. All right, I got the planter reloaded. Since I got my pickup here and an empty seed tender, we're going to run over to that John Deere dealer there, see if they have a closing wheel I can throw on. Although I was trying to get it off while we were loading there, and I can't get the bolt to spin. It's tight. I have to go find a longer breaker bar or a cheater pipe or something. I don't know. Everything always has to be more difficult than it needs to be. I got that stud off. And so I got 2 rubber closing wheels because that's what they had, and we're trying to change them. I got the stud off. I cannot get the bearing race off of that bolt, probably because I don't have the right tools and everything's rusted together in here. But I did get the other side off because I don't want to run a rubber and a spiked because they're different diameters. It won't work very good. We're going to change them both, and the bolts are long. those rubber closing wheels aren't as thick as my cast copper heads are. So we're just gonna go back to the John Deere dealer and get 2 bolts, a right-handed thread and a left-handed thread, which, by the way, the left-handed side is left-handed threads. It took me way too long tightening that bolt up to figure that out, but we got it. Everything just takes longer than it should. A lot of equipment for Berkey. Well, it doesn't look right, but there it is. The sad part is that I had to buy 2 rubber closing wheels when I have a whole freaking trash can full of them at home that I'm trying to figure out what to do with that I took off of this planter. But the John Deere dealer is that building right there that's close, and mine are 35 miles away. So, whoa, fell off the steps. So get the close ones. Let's get back to planting. It is 5:30. Dang it. We are not going to be planting corn by 6 o'clock. It's all right. It's all right. I don't know if we'll get there tonight or not. I sure hope so. Depends on how late I want to stay, I guess. Well, we've got 2 passes here. I got the ends done here and there. We got to do along the woods yet, but we are setting up our angle. So we are going to crisscross plant this field, which means we're going to do it twice. So I've got us on a 1.5 degree angle this time. And we're going to go 1.5 degrees this way, and then we're going to set it for 364.5 degrees and go just off on the other way on the second pass over. But I can't get right up to the edges on the angles and stuff, so we've still got our 2 passes along the outside that will split the middles. I got most of it around the woods done and got this side here filled in. Drive down to here and do some shorter rows. Phil just called me. He had called me a while ago, and I think I told you, decided that we needed to work those fields where Xander's at a second time. So he's kind of waiting on the tillage for him to be able to plant. And I said, well, if you get stuff moved and you've got some time, I'm going to need fuel down here because we're burning a crap ton of it doing this no-till. And so he just called me and said, hey, I'm almost down there. You want me to get your fuel? And I said, oh, yeah. So anyway, I think where he's going to meet me at the end of the field down here, and we'll fuel up the tractor. Yep, right there he is. So cool. That'll be all I need. We might need some in the 9R before we're done down here, but we'll see. Okay, well, we have finished planting this the first time. We did a YouTube live stream, and it kind of sort of worked. I had a lot of buffering, and yeah, one time I had to cut out. We ended up starting a new one. But anyway, we finished it the first time around, and now we have planted the perimeter 2 times all the way around, trying to split the rows, right, like we do. And now we are getting ready to set our angle. So we planted it that way first time, and now we're going to go that way. So we're going to get rid of our auto path here. We're going to create a new track, A plus heading method. We're going to call this bean plants 26 left. I called the first one right. Okay. Let's get to where we want to start. And it's where the planter is, not where the tractor is. So we got to get our planter squared up a little bit. We're going to kind of head that direction. Roughly right there. We hit A. We type in 364.5. So we were 1.5. 360 or 0 is straight north. We were 1.5 degrees, and now we're going 364.5. Okay? 350. No, not 364.5. What are you doing, you idiot? 358.5. I don't know why I was thinking that. Okay. Done. Auto track. Okay. That feels very close to our corn rows. I don't love planting with our corn rows. We might have to put in a little bit sharper of an angle. No, I don't like it. Don't like it. So we're gonna back up here. All right, we're gonna circle around and start back. We're gonna put another degree in there, make it a little bit of a sharper angle. I don't want to plant right down the cornstalk rows. Okay, that's better. It's not quite as sharp of an angle to the corn rows as we were on the first pass, but we're definitely crossing them. That's what we want. So this will be interesting to see what it looks like when we get it. Beans coming up out of the ground. Just made a turn and I noticed we're dragging something. I don't know if it was this. It was more in the center of the planter. I think it was that. We've got a trail. Why do we have a trail? Oh, I know why we have a trail. Holy crap. How did that happen? My pin fell out of my jack stands on both of them. How? That's impossible. I'd be shocked if that's not bent. Wow. That is a strong piece right there. How am I going to get that up though? Okay. This one's not far behind it. There's a clip with a safety on it that goes in there. How in the heck did that happen? I had that bolt from that closing wheel that I changed earlier. So we'll put that in there. That'll hold the one up. But we better find some way to hold this pin in on the other side or we're going to lose it. Got some zip ties on my truck over there. Let's see if I got anything in here. Weird. I have never had that happen. It happened on both of them at the same time. Like... that feels like sabotage. But I've been driving this all day, other than the 2 minutes I was gone to go to the John Deere dealer over there. Like, what the heck? Last pass? Last pass? We got a sliver there. Do we need to worry about that? Theoretically, I already planted it. We're going to end up clear on the other end of the field. We're going to come back for that little tiny sliver? No. No, we're not. Oh, we made it almost. Almost done. I wonder how many beans we got left in our tanks. There's going to be some. Hopefully not a whole lot, but we'll just dump them back in a box. I don't know where we're going to plant them is the problem. So all of the beans down here are a 3.3 maturity, which is the fullest season beans that we had this year. There's two varieties, but they're all 3.3s. Everything back to Waldron is a 3.0 and earlier. So I really don't want to plant these out up there because they won't be ready when the rest of them are. The reason that we do that, plant the full season beans here, is because I want to be able to come down here and finish harvesting beans, immediately switch to corn, and do the corn here. So we're only making one trip at harvest time. So we plant full season beans and we plant early corn. See if that works. It worked last year. We'll see if it does again next year, this year or not. Well, we're done with beans. We have planted 320 acres of beans today. Now, 67 and 64 of that was twice, second time over, so 120 something of it today was double plant, but still, we're at 320 acres on the day. Let's head back to the farm, and we're gonna start switching stuff over to corn. Let's see how many beans we got left. Got all the bowls out. Now we gotta empty the seed tank and then blow the lines out and put the corn bowls in. Okay, we got our tanks empty. We blew the lines out. We're putting bowls back in. Okay, you see the lights over there? That's Brock. He just finished up the field that he was in. 98 acres there, and he's getting ready to jump across the road to the last field. This is the field with all the house lots in it. He's going to go and do it. So There's not going to be as many acres there as what we've had in the past because we're going to not farm in a couple of the lots that are on the end of the field. So whatever, hopefully he can figure that out. Corn going in. See if we can get this box split evenly. 103 day. We'll plant a whole box of it. Then we got 102 day. We'll plant a whole box of that. We'll finish up with some 104 day. All right, we are loaded with seed. Now we need fertilizer. We go get our tank. Hooking up to this tank is the worst part of this whole process, but we got it. We're gonna put some of this fertilizer in. Our back tank here is pretty full. We're gonna put in enough to do, I don't know, at least 78 acres, at least 80 acres, maybe 120. We got like 78 acres in this field right by the barn here. That's what we're gonna get done tonight for sure. I could go until we run out of seed, in which case I would need to offer to 120 acres for the fertilizer, which would be a full tank on our front, and what's that, 11 times 120, 11, be like 1,400 gallons, somewhere in that ballpark. So that's probably what we'll put in. I want to make sure we get enough planted out that we can empty that tank in the morning, because I'm going to need another load, and hopefully somebody can run and get it for me. This is all the infertile we'll need, so we don't have to get that tank empty. Well, I found the problem that may shut us down for the night. I got an alert that rows 19 and 20 weren't getting any fertilizer, so I came out to look, and it's all over here. Our hoses got ripped apart down to our conceals. That part of the hose is good, but it's supposed to go to the Y, and the Y was brought all the way down. It was, yeah, corn stalks, man. And 19 and 20 are fed from the same nozzle body, so it was all just splashing out there and wasn't going anywhere. If I could plug that one side, I could keep going and just put it on one side of the conceal, but I don't really have any way to do that. So that may be it. I don't know if I have any of this hose here. I know I have some at Waldron, but I don't know about here, so we'll go back up to the barn and see. It's a long shot here, but worth a look. I don't see anything even close. Shoot. Well, that's gonna be a bummer. I was feeling good too. Dang. That's all right. We still had a really good day. Maybe we can miss some rain tomorrow. It was unlikely that we were going to get done here anyway, because we aren't going to have time. So I'm going to call Brock. We'll talk to him. His car is here. My truck is not. So let's see what he wants to do. Yeah, I came over to pick up Brock. We're going to call it a night and head for home. It would be nice if we can come down in the morning and finish this. He would have stayed and finished it if I wanted him to, but it'd be really helpful if he could drive that tractor home for us tomorrow. So you might as well just come down in the morning and do it. We're going to bank on it not raining at 8 a.m. and waiting until 8 p.m. It ain't going to happen, but we're going to try anyway. How's it feel being back in a tractor, Brock?
I missed it.
You missed it. Oh, listen, he missed me, guys. Did you hear that?
I don't know if I say missed you.
Everything working up all right today?
Yeah, once I got the cylinder fixed.
Yeah, for some reason we got a cylinder that's settling on us, and I don't know why, so we gotta figure that out eventually. But the thing is, we've got about 40 acres to do, and then that tool gets parked. Oh no, we got 60 acres, 65 acres to do back at home. Yeah, so maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just finish the year and park it and then forget about it for next year. Most likely. Anyway, we're heading for home.